Good. Click over to YouTube now. Left. All right, so make sure you got Adam pulled up and YouTube pulled up. I think we figured out last class that you can't send chat messages unless you use a personal Google account. Is that correct? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. Okay. Oh, it went live automatically when I clicked start streaming. Oh, well, I'm live. Cool. Alrighty then. Okay, lesson 6. Let's get into it. Oh, it's not open. That's annoying. It crashed. Why did Adam crash? Okay, let me go ahead and close all this stuff because that's all from not your class. All right, that's another thing I should probably bring up. I'm adding a new thing to the New Aims organization. So if you go to your own repository on GitHub and click on the New Aims CS, it'll take you to the New Aims organization where you will only be able to see these 3 pinned repositories and your repository. I obviously have access to everything else, so I have 1.2K repositories that I can see. Lots of stuff. The point of this is the web templates. I'm going to be uploading stuff to this, and it will contain the template files that we do in class. Does that make sense? So if you miss class, following along would be the best practice for understanding, but this is a way you can double check that you have things written the correct way, right? I don't suggest just copying the template and trying to figure it out, but that is possible. So from last time, here's the index that we made and with the CSS file as well. I'm just going to leave that in part 1 because we're not going to worry about it. Okay, so part 2, sure. Should I have them separated this way? I don't think I'm going to. I think we're just going to throw them in here. Lesson 6. Let's go ahead and make an index file. So remember that you're going to make inside your assignment file folder a lesson 6 folder, and inside there let's make an index. New file. Then let's go ahead and use the HTML shortcut to make a default page. I'm going to hang tight for a second while I watch people get caught up. Okay, so lesson 6 is working with fonts, text blocks, lists, and tables. So let's go ahead and jump in with fonts. So let's make a paragraph tag. Oh my heck, I can do this, guys. The microphone's just in the way. Got to figure out how to make this work better. This is why streamers have it on a boom, so it's not in their faces. You can put whatever text you want inside there. I am just going to put in the opening crawl from episode 4. This goes past this line right here. This line is the 80 character limit. Default programming windows have an 80 character limit. Doesn't really matter. The main point is this is a page, and if it goes over that, then you should turn on soft wrap. To do that, you go to View, Toggle Soft Wrap. So now you can see that we have line 8, and then we have a dot, because line 8 is still just one line, but it's wrapped around, so it has extra stuff. If you want that, you can just, you don't have to type the stuff that I have typed. Okay, you just put in some dummy text. I'm just going to go through how to edit that text. Okay. So we got this text. If we save the file and take a look at it, I'm going to pull up inside the file manager. Double click on it so I can see the live page. I'm going to move it to my other tab. This is what it looks like. Well, I don't really want it to look like that. I want to format some additional things here. I'm going to close this, minimize, close. Okay, so I want everything that's in capital letters to be bolded. So to bold text, use the tag strong. It is not a self-contained tag, so you have to have a closing one. So Galactic Empire, I'm going to make strong. Empire, I'm going to make strong. Da, 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 da. Then there's another Empire here. Okay, so now with that saved, I can hop back over to my web page, hit refresh, and now I can see that everything that's in all caps has been bolded. Jumping back over to my paragraph element, I have spaces where I want these to be separate paragraphs. Now, instead of actually using separate paragraph tags to break this all up, what else can I do to separate paragraphs out? This was from the review last class. How can I break up lines?
Can't you use like DR text?
Yeah, there's a line break. Oops. Self-containing tag. Yeah, just add it to the existing folder. I'm just looking at the chat now. This index, just throw it inside your lesson 6. Don't worry about deleting your previous assignments because the new ones are very similar. So with that one line break, if I go over to this and refresh, I can see that it breaks the line right there to a new line, right? What is another way to do that? HR does a horizontal rule. So if I put that there and then switch back over, it will break it because I'm adding that horizontal line inside. Have we covered pre-tags yet? PRE? I think that's something that should be inside here. So PRE stands for pre-formatted text, which means it will show up exactly the way it is inside our HTML code. So saving that and jumping over, refreshing, now it shows exactly that way, which means that I have to scroll to the right to see the rest of it, right? Because it's all on one line. I actually have to add the breaks if I want the breaks to be there. Pre-formatted text by default uses a unispace font style, monospace, where every character takes up the same amount of space. It's really good for programming. All right, so those are those tags. Let's talk about emphasis. Let me see here. Just grabbing the book to make sure I am grabbing all the things I want. Ooh, special characters. We're going to have to cover that. Okay. All right, so strong is for bolding, right? What if I want something to be italicized? Do you guys remember what the tag is for that? That's the old tag.
Like emphasis.
EM for emphasis. So every instance of rebellion, I'm going to do an EM. To find every instance of rebellion, I'm going to do Control F, and I'm going to search for the word rebellion, and I'm going to replace it with the emphasized word of it. So find that one is the one I want. Which one are we on? Not that one. That one. Replace. Okay, so refreshing now. Rebellion has been italicized. Okay, so there's another one. I'm going to make another paragraph just to show some stuff. We also have subscripts and superscripts. So if we're going to write a chemical formula like H2O, the 2 should be a subscript. To do that, you use the tag sub. Coming back over here, we have our new paragraph, H2O. All right, throwing in another paragraph. You know what? I'm going to change these from P's to PREs because that's part of what we're learning here. We're going to save that. I'm going to turn off soft wrap and add line breaks right after. You know what? I don't need to add line breaks because with this I can actually just do enter. Because this is pre-formatted, all this space will show up. So I actually need this to be brought over. Yeah, we'll leave it like that, and then we'll get a new one. Let's do that. I'm just showing examples of pre-formatted stuff. You can change the location of this 80 character mark if you wanted to. If you know the size of your window that you're going to be working with, having that marker set to that point is a good idea. That way you know how long your paragraphs need to be before they can be broken up. So let me jump back over, hit refresh. So 80 characters fits really nice in the screen size right here. If I were to make the screen size bigger, it's not a responsive website, it's still only going to take up that much space, right? So if I knew that I'm working with something that was this size, I would move that 80 character line to something different. I'd have to figure out what size I want that to be so that as I'm writing my text or filling things out, I know where things are going to be showing up. Okay, so we have subscripts. Let's talk about superscripts. What's a good thing to have a superscript in? X squared? That's easy enough, right? Super, or is it just SUP? I'm trying to remember if it's super or just SUP. We'll find out by actually testing the code. It is not super, it's SUP. Sup. There we go. All right, so subscripts and superscripts. Pre-formatted text, bold text, emphasis text. All right, so those are all the special formatting pieces of text. Let's take a look at special characters. I'm going to pull up the book real fast. On my other page so that it's not super annoying to you guys. Okay, we're going to jump to lesson 6. Special characters, because I want this table to be up. All right, so special characters. They can have numeric codes and code names. Both work to look them up. So if I wanted to have a greater than symbol, I can't just put that directly into my code, which makes sense, right? Because the greater than and less than symbols are used for tags. So I have to write ampersand number sign 60 semicolon or ampersand LT for less than. Copyright signs, restricted signs, money signs, plus or minus. We got some special characters. Multiplication stuff. Usually, most of these won't be memorized by people. These two might be. The ampersand might be. Quotation marks might be, because these ones are pretty straightforward. Dun 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 dun. Let me see. Which one do I want to use? I don't really think I need to show an example of how to do this. You just put it inside a paragraph, and it will change to that text. But they do exist, and this is how you get those special characters to show up. So if you're trying to do something, and you're going to be using a non-based character, a non-alphanumeric character, look up what the special symbol is. W3 Schools will be really easy to do that. Just straight up Google it will work as well. Just say HTML code for whatever. Like if I wanted the up arrow, this is not what I wanted. HTML code. I think it's ignoring the up arrow. Yeah, here's a bigger list. That's, yeah, full mathematic reference of symbols. Tons of symbols. And that's just the math ones. There's Greek letters. You can make cards, right? Spades, clubs, hearts, and diamonds. Those also make kind of fun list characters. Okay, so that's special characters. Let me see what else I wanted to cover before we jump into the assignment. Actually changing the font. Right. So, web font. There's lots of web fonts available. I suggest using fonts.google.com. This is the easiest way to grab fonts for your machine. Using fonts that are installed on your computer does not guarantee that they will be available on every computer. Using a web font or a font that's hosted on the internet will be accessible on all computers. So let's say I like this Moki. I have no clue how to say it. Pop P1 font. To use it, I click select this style. I can change its size to see how it looks like. I can change the text here to see what it would be, right? Like words. There we go. Sample glyphs. Where's the... Oh, it doesn't have it. Okay. If you want multiple fonts, see how it still says, it says remove this style? Because up here I have the code for this style. Now I can go back to Google Fonts. This is still right up here. And I can grab some other text. Dun, 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 dun. Based on certain styles. You know what? I'm going to switch this from regular categories. I want... Oh, we should talk about that. Okay. Let's talk about serifs and sans serifs real fast. All right. Serifs are those little tick marks and curves that are on letters. Those are called serifs. Sans serifs don't have those tick marks. Handwriting style things, also known as cursive. Most of them go by that. You call it cursive inside the code. Really good for headings, not so much for paragraph text. Displays, also really good for headings. I like this one, so I'm going to add this to my list of stuff. Click select. That's all I have to do. Monospace is really good for code or something that you want to look like a typewriter or old school. Monospace text, everything takes the same space. That's why it's called monospace. So let me go ahead and add this one. Some fonts have additional styles that you could go off of. So this has a regular, italic, bold, and bold italic. So I can choose which one I want to use, or if I want to have all of them in there. So when something's bolded, I think it would grab that. So I'm just going to grab the regular, and I'm also going to grab a handwriting style. Did I already grab a display style? I don't remember. I'll find out in a second when I jump over. All right, so as I've been adding all these families, I can see, dismiss, this list of all the things I've grabbed are right inside this selected families thing. And now I have the code to send all of these to my website in one go, instead of having to do it all different. To do that, I copy this code, and then I go to my editor, and inside the head, I paste those links. Remember that the link tag links to files that are going to be used and what they are for. So just because I have that doesn't mean it's going to be used. So down here, I'm going to make a style tag. I didn't want to delete that one. I want to delete that. Okay, so even though these fonts are now linked to my page, I need to tell my web page to use them. To do that, I come over here and I grab the CSS rules. Copy that. And paste it inside my style. All right, so here I can see I have a cursive style. That's the handwriting or display is both called cursive. I have a sans serif style and I have a monospace style. Saving that up, I'm going to go close this and jump over. The pre-formatted text now should use, if I'm thinking things correctly, which I'm not sure if I am. No, I'm not. Okay. I'm going to tell... Oh, right, because I have to put this inside something. I have to tell it what tag to apply this to. So I want to say body, which means everything in my body. Oh, but that was going to use all of them. And I'm going to experiment with this, and you guys are going to deal with it. Okay. So based on that, it just goes off the last one. Okay. So let's change it. Let's say anything that's strong should use that cursive. Anything that is emphasized should use this sans serif. What else we got? We got the pre-tag. We're going to use this cursive. No, nope. Pre's better with monospace, so we'll use the monospace one for that. So I'll change this one to just the P tag. So does that make sense what I just did here? So we can see that the pre-format is using this Ubuntu Mono font family, which is this. But then inside of that I have a strong tag, which is going to use this Furchter or whatever. And then I also have emphasis, which is going to use that Mokchi Pop P1 right there. My regular P tags are using that cursive style. So that's how you link web fonts in. Over here, just so that you're aware, font family is where you tell it which one to use. Pre-installed ones can be used as well. You just put the name there. The reason that there's a second thing here is that if it can't find this font, to use the web browser's default cursive font, or in this case the default sans serif font. You can also list multiple ones. Try this font. If you can't find this font, then use that font. If you can't use that font, then use this last font or default. It's always good to have a default style set, because if it can't load a font for some reason, your text will not show up, which is a big deal, right? Okay, so that's how to use web fonts. Let's see what else we got. Text alignment, was that new for this one, or did we already cover how to align text? Nope, this is new for this one. Text alignment. Sure. Let's do some text alignment. Paragraphs. Text. Align. Let's do right. That's the only one you'll be able to see anything in. So now instead of being on the left, it's on the right. And if I go big, it's always going to be the furthest to the right because I aligned the text to be to the right. Does that make sense? Using the developer's tools, the reason it's able to go all the way over here is because the box that it's in, this paragraph thing, spans this entire size. If I change the width of this paragraph to not be 100%, as in the full size of the page, it will go to the left or the rightmost place that it can go. There's left, right, and center for text alignments. I'm pretty sure if we do this, if it's going to play nice, it's not playing nice. I can do center, and now my stuff is centered. This only works for things with text because it's going to center within its size, right? Again, these elements... Oh my gosh, stop double clicking. There we go. Are centered, and they are actually centered on the page because the element itself has a width of the full page. If the element's width was not the full page, it would center in whatever it is. So if I say this and width is 200 pixels, and bring this back up, refresh, now it's over there. Oh my gosh. Because the width, the blue part, is smaller. So it's centered on the blue part. So that's text alignment. And my bookmark fell out of my book, so hang on a second. Okay, lists and tables and columns is what's left, which means it's time to actually jump into the assignment parts. Okay. All right, so jumping into the assignment parts. I'm going to close this index because I don't need it anymore. You guys can do that as well. This is just a reference for some extra code. I'm going to open up lesson 6. Slightly similar to what you had, but a little bit different because I did change things since you submitted stuff. Not a ton, though. All right, so let's start with this recipe page. So we're going to make a page in our lesson 6 called recipe.html. So new file, recipe.html. We're going to use the HTML shortcut to make a default page. We'll give it a title because it's always good to have a title. That's not how you spell recipe, is it? R-E-C. How do you spell recipe? I-P-E. I need to rename my file so it's spelled correctly. Okay. If I do this, does this work on your pages still? You can still kind of see what the text is? Okay. I just need to be able to see the extra stuff. Okay, so we're making a recipe. We're going to make a recipe for a favorite food or whatever, just from a thing. It should use the following, yada, yada, yada. So we're going to start out and we're going to have a title, right? So we're going to use a header, H1. Let's just say this is cookies. You're going to actually go along and finish this for your homework, putting actual recipe in here. I'm just going to throw out some junk off the top of my head to do this. So here I'm going to have cookies. We're going to use 2 types of lists. All right, so for the ingredients, we're going to use an unordered list to let the page know that this is ingredients. We're going to have an H2, second level header, and say that this is ingredients. I don't know how to spell anything, and Adam doesn't seem to be telling me if that's right or wrong. Is it right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so unordered list, UL. Okay, in this unordered list, we're going to have list items, LI, for each of the things we need. So cookies usually have like flour. Oh my gosh, off homeroom. like eggs, sugar, chocolate chips, right? So taking a look at our actual page now, we see that we have two headers. One's bigger than the other because this is an H1, this is H2, and we have an unordered list. Unordered lists use bullet points by default. I'm going to go ahead and close this since I opened that up. All right, so now we're going to add some special characters to this. All right, because some of these things are going to be straightforward, like 2 eggs, 1 cup, chocolate chips. But sugar and flour might be different. So let's say that flour is going to be 2 1/4. Instead of doing 2 and a subscript 1 and a superscript 1 and a slash and a subscript 4, we're going to use the special character for 1/4. So we'll do W3 schools. Actually, you know what? I still got the book open, so I might as well do it there. Dun 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 dun, because it's right here. All right, fraction 14. So we'll just do that to ampersand, which is CIF7, FRAC 14:. Now refreshing, I can see it's 2 1/4 flour. If I want a space, does it look better with a space or do I not want a space? It looks better with a space. I'll do that. What other things can I throw in here? Let's say that it's 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Doesn't matter. All right, so that's how you use special characters. All right, so we're going to want... We'll add stuff like that later. One of the lists should use a non-default list style. I'm going to use this unordered list to have that non-default list style. I want... I'm going to hop to W3 schools because I want to use a special character for my lists. Symbols, that's what we want. Okay, so I'm going to come down here. I want to have it be hearts. I think I can do it to non-default ones. We're going to find out. List style equals quotes list Does anyone remember if I'm doing this wrong for a non-standard one? I know this will work for standard ones, but I'm not sure if it will work for non-standard ones. We're going to find out. Nope. All right, let me double check. Or maybe that's something that comes in later, is the non-built-in ones. Okay. Yeah, the non-built-in ones are covered in a later lesson, so I can't do it with hearts. So instead of bullet points, let's say I want a square. Now there's squares instead of dots, right? Or is there a triangle? I'm trying to remember if there is or not. Nope, triangle's not a built-in thing. Let's take a look for UL list styles. And CSS. Circle and square, upper and lower Roman. Is that it? No. Disk. Whoa. So circle, disk, and square. For ordered lists, there's a lot more options, but for unordered lists, circle, disk, or square. All right, I'm just going to go run through square because that's what we want. Let's jump back to the lesson here. So that checks off that box. All right, now we're going to add another HT. Second. We're going to have the steps. This is going to be an ordered list, so OL. It also has list elements. All right. I'm going to go ahead and copy this and paste a few of them. And I'm just going to put in some garbage text. You're actually going to have stuff inside yours, but we're getting tired of this lecture, so I want to keep going. Okay. The last thing, or two more things need to be tied in with this. We already have special characters, special formatting tags. Don't worry about that. We need to do a non-default web font, which we can do in a second. But these CSS columns. So, and this should not be orders, this should be ordered. So this ordered list, I want to have in columns. To do that, with the vertical separators. Okay, so that's down here. We're going to add some inline style. We could do it up here, but we're just going to do it inline because it's easy for this. Style. Oh, my heck. We're going to have it be column count. I didn't spell column right. COLUMN. There we go. Column count, I'm just going to have 2 columns, but you can change it to any number you want within reason. 2 columns, I'm going to put a semicolon here, and I also want it is column rule. Know what? This is not going to be a good inline one. I changed my mind. There's a couple things that need to get added to it, so it would be better to have it up here inside a style tag. All right, for OL, column count 2, column gap, as in the space between them. Let's do like a 20 pixels. Column rule. Do I need a color with that, or is it just... Yes, okay, so I need a column rule width. We'll do medium. You can actually set pixels in there, but that's fine. Style, we'll have it be do dotted. Column rule color, I'll just do red. For kicks, oh, that's not pretty. Okay, so what's wrong here? Why are you unhappy? It's because my gap is too small, it looks like. Yeah, my gap was too small. Because the dotted is only one thing. So if we do solid, okay, the last thing is to link in a web font, but we already showed how to do that, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the next assignment. Going to make a new file. Call this one schedule. SCHED. There we go. Okay, so our schedule. Alright, for this one we're going to have tables. For this one it wants a header to say your schedule or whatever. Then we're going to have a table, which is a table tab. Actually, if I want to see... Oh, it doesn't. Okay. All right, this table is going to have a table header. Which we usethead for. Inside that we have... Oh, is it... It's th, but that's inside of tr. Let me pull over a second. TR for table row. Go ahead and close that table row. So rows are horizontal and the cells are the vertical. So the number of things in here determines the number of columns we're going to have. So for this, we're going to have 3 columns. And we'll do th1. So this will be period. Class. And then room. So doing that, we now have a table with 3 columns, period, class, and room. That's it for the table header. So now we're going to actually add a table body. All right, so in this, we'll have table rows, I'm going to copy that and paste it 8 times because there's 8 periods. So we'll need 8 rows. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, I shouldn't have done that. You don't want to copy and paste the rows yet. You want to put in cells or table data, TDs. And we need to have the same number of cells as we have columns. So each one will have 3. Then we want 8 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so this would be first period, right? So we're using the super thing to do that. I think there might be special characters for those as well. I don't remember off the top of my head, so I'm just going to do that. Then we'll have second period, third period, yada, 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 right? So you can see tables are a bit of a pain because it's very explicit with the data that it needs. Then when we finally get to 5, we can just do the rest of them with the THs. All right, so we got all the periods. Then we can put in the name of the classes. You can do yours, mine will be mine, doesn't really matter. And then I have you can see that tables automatically will format if we don't set their sizes by default to be the size of the max one, and headers by default are bolded and automatically centered. And then we can put the room numbers in and things like that. All right, for this one, it also wants borders. So we are going to add borders to this. So up here, we're going to add some, where are we? Inside our header, we're going to add some style for a table. Oh, right. We don't want it just for the table, because if we just give the table a border, so we're just going to do a 1 pixel solid black border. This will just put a border around our table. We want it actually for all the cells. So we need to do table, table rows, table headers, and table data. But that's going to double things up. So we're going to want those to collapse unless you like that style. Oh, that's quarter. That's why it's not working. So now that collapses to 1, and I don't like having the text so close to it, so we're going to add some padding around the text. Let's do like 5 pixels. So that puts a, if I do it correctly, a 5 pixel buffer around every part of the text. So the borders won't be right up against it. For this one, we also need to pull in, let's see, skip that one, that's not important. Stylized. That just means using the uppercase thing, T-body, T-foot. Okay, T-footer. All right, let's come down here and add a T-foot. All right, so this one is only going to have one thing in it, which is the new AIMS address, which you're going to look up from Google to throw in there. But in order to make it styled the way we want, we're going to use column span. Nope, not that one. Oh my goodness. Call span, how many columns do we have? We have 3, so we just put 3 in there. If I remember to do this right. Nope, I failed. Oh, it's not a style. Right, this is not CSS. This is an attribute of things. Call span equals 3. Is a 3 in quotes? Yes, it's in quotes. My bad. Okay, so call span equals 3. So now the new AIM address column spans all 3. We're also going to want it centered, so let's add, what is it? Yeah, it's just style text align center. And then you need to pull in another custom web font. All right. Now that I'm actually turning my head over and looking at the chat, as long as your stuff does fit the rubric, feel free to turn it in. Let me go ahead and edit this real fast. Sure, I'll do it over live. I don't really care because I want to show what's going to be in there. Special formatting tags. We're going to get rid of that. Special characters, yes. Non-default web font. List style. Yeah, so that one's good. Table title, that is bolded. Don't really care, but it should have a title. Stylized borders. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Just removing those 2 things. All right, any questions about the assignments? Take that as a no. Okay, I think I'm going to stop the live stream then. The rest of the class time is yours to finish these 2 assignments, which is the homework. They will be due Monday, 7 a.m. Okay.